Hello, welcome to Pluto Pay. Today I'm going to talk to you about my app, Pluto Pay, which is an app that offers a one-stop shop for banking, shopping, and chatting with the ability to negate using your credit card information online. As you can see here at the beginning of my presentation are my business goals, my product goals, my scope of work, and the tools I would use for the completion of this app. And here are the challenging features that I faced, such as one of the biggest one was financial security for the app. I received a lot of feedback, and what you hear, everyone talks about security. So that was a big point for me when it came to this app. My research process started with my survey and interviews, my competitive analysis, and my research analysis. Basically, I conducted the research here to gain an understanding of the user's banking habits, their pain points, and their online use habits. I also completed a competitive analysis. I analyzed the company Klarna, which I wanted to see what they've done that is advantageous to the customer. And with this analysis, I looked at the features that were most popular to the users. However, I also got to see features that were lacking and that I can put into my app. After completing this process, I was able to develop my personas. I developed a persona called Myra Welker, and she's an actress looking for an easier way to complete money transfers without standing on the line at Western Union. To help with the advancement of the experience for the customer, as well as the enhancement, it was important I developed a journey map, and this journey map basically re-emphasizes the pain points, and it gives a more visual portrayal of the user's emotions. And with all the information I received, I was able to come to a conclusion what was exactly needed for this project. I was able to define the main points that would create the design. And the user wants better authentication. They want to be able to do seamless money transfers. And they want to maximize the time and choose payment methods at the beginning of a purchase. And as we move right along, based on the information I received, I created my sitemap. Basically, I was able to deduce the items that were most important to the users was security and money transfer and shopping with ease of use. So then I went ahead and created my sitemap. With my sitemap, I also created user flows. Here is a user flow for Myra Welker. This one basically is her completing a money transfer transaction. All of what I've done has been based on the user stories that I've gotten, and here are a few user stories from my interviewees, I'm sorry. After the user flow, I developed a business requirement document, and this document basically focuses on the solution for the project, what it takes for the stakeholder to achieve, and it also emphasizes the needs and expectations of the user. Following that, I was able to do a closed card sorting to improve the usability of my sitemap. The way I analyzed the card sorting is I analyzed with a standardization grid and a similarity matrix. And based on my sitemap and my user flows, I was able to move on to wireframing in prototyping. I used Balsamiq for wireframing and Figma and Adobe XD for prototyping. I started with my low fidelity wireframes, pen and pencil also, and that is just pen and pencil. When I made my design, I focused on the user, and I was able to sketch out a flow that was needed for each screen. I implemented the design of the users for the simplicity and the ease of use. From my low fidelity wireframes, I went on to my mid fidelity wireframes where I used Balsamiq. Okay, now this was the first time I actually saw my app start taking shape and start looking like an app. With these mid-fidelity wireframes, what I did was I designed to allow the users to sign up and complete a transaction. After my mid-fidelity wireframes, I created my high-fidelity wireframes. And with the high-fidelity wireframes, after completion, with the target audience, I did a user study utilizing Skype and Zoom. For this testing, I wanted to gain feedback from the user, how easy it was to do the sign up, how easy it was to complete a transaction task, and what feedback the users would give to improve the transactions and to make the app more enjoyable. And after that, I iterated and I followed up with further user testing. As you can see here, these are my originals before testing, and these are the revised after the feedback was given. I also completed using affinity map, and that way I was able to group the statements of the users based on their similarities. And in order to do this evaluation, I used a rainbow spreadsheet and summarization for a test report. Then we went into the rinse and repeat process, because as we move further along in the project, the research methods to validate the prototypes are also changing. And here I used a preference test. I used A/B testing, and to have the users interact and review the prototype and give me their preference and why do they prefer that. Then we moved on to the ecosystem of the app, which is Harmony Rules. Okay, and to keep this ecosystem, I needed to understand the different groups involved, their requirements and expectations. So therefore, I had to make sure I build a wholesome design language system, which is scalable and efficient at the same time, and it gets everyone on the same page. After more iteration and more testing, I have finished my product and I am ready to present it. Pluto Pay is an app that also uses accessibility for users with low vision due to the color choices made on the app. Here is my finished version of the app. As you can see, we have the app designed as well as the process. And here is my full prototype of my app, Pluto Pay, that can be clicked on and a full presentation could be done. What I learned about developing an app, it is not as easy as it looks, and it is very detailed in its content. They say the devil is in the details, the iteration and iteration and iteration. Sometimes it can be quite frustrating, but in the end, you have a feeling of great accomplishment when you get to the final product. I have learned that everyone does not see things the same way. So sometimes when you look at an app and you say, oh, this is perfect, and then you put it out there for feedback and the feedback is, oh, not very good, your mind opens up to another view of your product, and that I find is a great learning experience for me. Now I'm going to answer the questions from Career Foundry. The first question was, have you ever given feedback on someone else's design before? What about receiving feedback? I'll answer the first, which is, have I given feedback? Yes, I have given feedback, and I have been used in a few usability testing studies. Some of the feedback have been good, and some of the feedback have been not so good. Have I received feedback? Yes, because I develop websites and sometimes apps along with the websites. I have been given lots of feedback on the work I have done, and some of it has been good and some of it has been not so good. It's not bad feedback. It's just that someone else see your vision from another perspective, so you learn from that feedback. The second question is, how would your teammates describe you as someone to work with? Well, in the past, my coworkers have told me that I am very organized and quite good at time management. During one of our specific products, my teammates praised me for developing and sticking to the timeline for all the project's different aspects. We ended up completing the project ahead of time, and it went very well. I'd love to have similar relationships with any of my team members in any of the projects that I do. The third question is, tell me about a difficult project, or tell about something going wrong and how you reacted. I will tell you about a project because I do design websites and some apps. I designed a website for a butcher shop, and at the end of that design, as I was presenting, the owner of the shop decided that he did not want it because it was all too complicated for him. And to my surprise, it would increase his customer base, and he doesn't know if he has the employees for that. So what I did is I stopped the presentation, and then I sat him down and I went over the website and the back end of the website step by step with him to show him that the process was quite easy. After I was able to do that, and he knew more about what he was supposed to do, he loved the website. And until today, he still calls me for constant upgrades because he says the website has been so successful for his business. The final question is, come up with your own question that you could ask an interviewer. For instance, something about culture.